Well, hello there, everybody. It is I, the YouTuber that would be a creation of a who mixed Tal Fishman and Alan Coyote. It is I. So, today I'm going to be talking about another Disney Plus movie, and I'm going to be talking about one that was given the cold shoulder because of Disney's new streaming service. It's called Luca. Check it. See that? Of course, you see that. It's not overly exciting, but you'll see that. So basically, what it is, it's a movie about a sea monster who wants to ride a Vespa. Essentially, it's the Little Mermaid, but with a Vespa instead of a prince. That's essentially what it is. So let's just give a good old fashioned rundown. So basically, the movie starts with Luca, which is this character, who is a sea monster that has the ability to turn into humans when they're dry, and his friend Alberto. And basically, what happens is, you see that? So essentially, what it is, it's essentially the sea monsters. They have the ability to turn into humans when they're dry, and sea monsters when they're wet. Kind of like a certain Australian show. Let me show you. A certain Australian show known as H2O Just Add Water. Essentially, this movie's just that in reverse. Because if you remember in that show, they had the ability to turn into mermaids or mermen, depending if whenever they got wet. However, there's a huge difference. In that one, they didn't start happening until they got cursed by the moon pool. But with the sea monsters, it just happens, I guess, as soon as they're born. I guess I have no idea. So that was one of the first things I noticed. In fact, I remember I think it was my dad who pointed out, it's essentially H2O in reverse. But that's far from the point. So now I've explained that, and essentially what they did is they wanted, without spoiling it, they wanted a Vespa or a moped or whatever the heck those Italians call it. I'm not Italian, so I couldn't tell you. But nevertheless, they need the money, so they enter some kind of triathlon. So that's essentially all I can say. I'm not going to tell you any more to avoid spoilers, but I'm just going to leave it at that when it comes to the plot. So now that I've talked about the plot, now I'm going to give in my 2 cents. So let's start with the basics. One of the first things I noticed about that movie, it was pretty lax for a Pixar movie. For example, Pixar movies are known for having weird climaxes, tugging at your heartstrings, being a mixture of comedic and sad, and having depressing moments for kids movies, etc., etc. Now this one, it wasn't overly sad, and there wasn't a big dramatic sad climax. For example, in WALL-E, there was essentially him being alone, and the sad climax was probably having to fight Otto to get the plant into the detector. In Up, well, that's pretty. Everyone who's seen Up knows that the entire first half prior to Ellie's unfortunate miscarriage was incredibly sad. But other than that, it was still a good movie, and then there was also what Pixar, not Disney. I'm taking Pixar only, and then Toy Story when they had to say goodbye to their childhood and his toys. But you get the idea. However, in Luca, this moment, in my opinion, was probably when Luca sold out Alberto because they didn't agree. Because he wanted to go to school, but all Alberto wanted was the moped. And when the scene where he sold the moped, that scene was also sad. But there was only 2 sad scenes in the movie. And another thing, it was a little more wacky for a Pixar movie, such as the entire first half when Luca first got his legs, he's like playing with things, he's riding. Alberto's just being a daredevil. You can see he's just general silliness. And what else can I say about it? I actually expected it to be a huge. For example, being a Pixar movie, there wasn't really a sad dramatic climax. unless you count the scene where Alberto helped him win the race. However, it wasn't overly sad or dramatic. I expected there to be a huge sad dramatic movie where they might have to where the parents try to force him to be dragged back, but he wanted to stay. But surprisingly, the parents were lax. At the beginning, they weren't lax, but close to the end, they started to be lax. And what was really cool is there was a character that was an anglerfish. Let me show you. For example, there was a character that was an anglerfish, which was voiced by Borat. Let me show you. See? You see the anglerfish? See that? So he's an anglerfish, and as you know, he was voiced by Borat. Let me show you. No, I'm not going to show you that. Okay, I'm going to show you this one. Because this one you can hear him talk. Yeah.
Some people think I'm mad to live in the deep. I think that they are the ones who are mad, not me, the one who is mad, it's them. It's a nice life, simple life. It's away from the hustle and bustle, all the stuff that you don't want. Anyway, you're gonna have fun. You get to hear me talk. I can talk without stopping sometimes for maybe 12 hours. And you get to listen, so you're lucky. Well done.
So essentially, as you know, that's the voice of Borat, and you probably know who Borat is.
We have several different puppies here. Yes. I don't know if you have anything in particular that you're looking for.
I want the dog.
Okay.
You can hear the resemblance. This one sounds a little more raspy, a little more European, but you can hear it.
Is about 10 to 11 weeks old. He's probably going to be about a medium-sized dog once he's grown.
Borat was a pretty weird movie.
Yeah?
Good. Is it trained?
No.
Can I see if I can train her? You stand there, please.
This is
put,
gonna handle.
your fingers on here.
My fingers on my
Yes, the other finger too. Yes, you say.
Okay, you get it. I can show you this later. I shouldn't be wasting my time watching, but you can see that. I was planning to show you the whole thing, but there would be no point because this is an H-Boy video, not a Borat video. If you wanted to see a Borat video, you could just go to see the video yourself. I don't need to show you this. But anyway, you get the point. It's lax, it's basic, and it's pretty calm. Anyway, I think that's all I can say. And then I told you the connection. It's suspiciously similar to a mixture. Oh, sorry, itchy eye. It's suspiciously similar to the plot of The Little Mermaid. Both involve a sea creature gaining legs to visit the surface. However, one's because of a prince. This one's because of a moped. Kind of like how Wreck-It Ralph. It was the movie Free Guy was essentially like Wreck-It Ralph up until. But if Wreck-It Ralph was a massive multiplayer online instead of an arcade game, you would get Free Guy. So, you see the connection? It's very similar. As you know, it was either Luca or Soul. I don't know, was Luca or Soul the first one to get the cold shoulder because of Disney Plus? Okay, let's see. Soul. It says here that Soul was the first first Pixar movie to get the hya from because of Disney Plus. Why? I don't know. And am I happy about that? Not really. Let's see what Rebecca has to say about it. It says 2 years, which is kind of sad. And yes, it was probably because of the pandemic. But here's the thing. Here's the problem. When Turning Red came out, most of the theaters in my vicinity were live and kicking. And what's even worse is this. I don't know if it's still there, but there was actually a Turning Red poster in the hallway of the theater, and every time I walk past it, I look at it and I'm like, oh, Disney. You know what I mean? So that's basically all I can say. So I think that's all I'm going to say about Luca for now, and I will see you next time.